Well, thank Tim for doing this giant party. This is amazing. I'd rather be talking to this crowd than just about any crowd I can imagine. One of the great things that I've learned in getting around a lot, speaking to organizations and teaching and training and coaching, is that there's no difference between the biggest deal I ever worked for, a 175-year-old company, Fortune 50 company, and they had people speaking 10 different languages in the group. So I like that I'm here with people that speak pretty much one language, Georgian, which is fantastic. So on with the show. I want to tell you that it matters what you do when you're in business, because all the things that you learn to do and the things that you bring are the things that are going to propel people with jobs and expand the tax base, and every dollar you pay in salary and every truck you buy and every car you buy churns the economy. I also want to remind you that not everybody is cut out to be an entrepreneur. You really are one of the tiniest minorities that there is out there. And if you want to really hone into it, your chances of survival are minimum. So I want to, this is working, let's see. There we go. I want to do an entrepreneurial test for you guys, because you've got to pass this or else you have to leave. I don't know if Tim told you, there'll be no refund. If nobody would hire you, raise your hand. That's about right. Usually everybody's hand goes up when I say that. If you start your business without a plan, not everybody goes to Vistage and not everybody goes to Small Business Development Council and gets going. But every business I started had no plan and no money. If bankers won't make direct eye contact with you or call you back. Now, when you get really successful, they start calling you and inviting you to lunch and, everything like that. Because one thing we learned, if you need money, they won't loan it to you. So that's important. No known market is a critical one. I seriously want to remind you that when John Deere decided he was going to start bending metal in his little shop to make a plow out of metal, that they said, you can't do that, John. Nobody wants a plow made out of metal. Well, John Deere Company has grown out from that little adventure. So there was no market for that, yet he did it anyway. When Bill Gates sat around thinking, you know what, I think everybody should have at least one computer in their home and in their office, that they said, you're crazy. Tom Watson at IBM said, nobody's going to put a computer in their house. Where would you put the 750,000-pound server? But I messed Bill Gates up. I have a laptop. I use it at work and at home. So the fact that he's the richest man in the world again, not on me. Proud of that. If your friends, close advisors, and all of your ex-wives say, don't do this, especially the ex-wives say, I want my check. So, you really have to, when you're rolling your business plan out, you better start with the people that you owe the most money to. And my favorite one, you'll risk everything on the dream. We advise a lot of small businesses. And one of the things I find out is that probably half have mortgaged everything. They have cleaned out their 401k that they built up over 20 years in their previous life. They've begged, borrowed, and stole, not literally, from everywhere they can to stay in business because they have a dream. And you cannot get them to let go of that dream. And I love that about them. So this is a terrible statistic. Only 5% of business owners make more than the average school teacher. That's not, Tim, you're not doing a very good job. There's something wrong out there. It's been years and years. Some business owners, and I don't want to tell you the percentage because it's terrible, have not received any pay from their endeavor for 5 years or longer. That's sort of yucky. And the thing is, you're always making sure that everybody else is getting paid. And so it's critical that we run our businesses the right way so that we can make something out of ourselves. Something more than just having a place to go. Well, when I told my mother I was going to start a pest control company in 1986, well, she and everyone else said, don't do it. And I said, well, why? Well, there are 75 other people already doing it, and what's so wrong about them? Why would anybody leave that company and come to you? There's 1,300 in the state. There's 21,700 in the nation. So we started, and they were right, actually, for to a great deal. Now, we're double the next bug guy in Augusta, which I'm pretty proud of. And we're in the top 10 in the state, and we're in the top 150 in the country. I got to explain that number. We were number 99, but between myself and, because we know everybody in the business, we knew 27 people that were bigger than us that didn't fill out the form and send it back. So we immediately knew we were at least number 126. So we don't really run around with the big head on that. But it's really important that you maintain this incredible positive focus in everything you do. Our 5-year, I don't know if y'all can see those numbers very well, but the way I plan my business is in 5-year chunks. And I didn't know that it would take the first 5 years y'all can see that little bottom one? That was that 5 years that we all talk about sometimes. And then it eased up a little bit. But it gets a lot easier when things get rolling and you have great people. And it's really, really important to do things the right way so that you can do that. I hit the wall, entrepreneurial wall, at least 24 times. And every time it was the same thing that pulled me through. You have to be pathologically positive and abnormally positive. It's very, very, very important that you do that. And then here's one that we find so rarely. You've got to be exactly right in your percentage of your hair is on fire, urgency, and the patience of Job. You have to know when, yes, this will take 18 months to get straight. Yes, this will take 2 weeks to fix. Or something where you have to pretend that you're on fire, running to fix it right now. You've got to know the differences between those two and act accordingly. You have to have an incredible hard head. It's got to be the hardest head in the world. No one was injured in the production of this photo. Just want y'all to know that right now. But brings me to Henry Ford. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. This is an incredible, important thing for entrepreneurs. Initially, I had a partner who, if I hadn't had this partner initially at Advanced, we wouldn't have made it, and I wouldn't be here wearing a halfway decent shirt. What happened, though, was that the right exact kind of guy for that period in our life as a partner was actually to find a pessimist to balance out my incredible optimism, because he said, things were horrible. We hadn't been paid, taxes are due, payrolls due, all this stuff's going on. He said, things couldn't be worse. And I said, yes, they can. I always had to balance him off, and it was very important to be that guy. I thought that this is a big trap you fall in. I thought that if you work hard enough and long enough that everything would be great, and the next thing you know, there's your family photo and you're not there. If you've got to be cropped back into your family photo, you've got a problem. That's not my family, by the way. The lady in the middle is our COO, and those are her children. That's a promotional photo. Her actual husband is in the back of the room. Raise your hand, Bo. That's the real dad. Meanwhile, that's me. That's my family photo. And so if that happens, if you've ever shown up on a milk carton, it's time to check back in at the house. And by the way, no children or women were ignored by anybody to take that photo. Y'all got to know that. You've got to not get too discouraged by overwhelming circumstances. Obamacare is scary if you got 50 or more. The IRS, don't get me started. Since I said that, they're probably in there now saying, let's look at Jeff. The litigation sharks are out there. The fear of lawsuits holds you back all the time. And keeping up with the increasing glut of regulation will make you crazy. We implemented a system called professional business management. We learned about it at Aileron. If y'all go to aileron.org on the World Wide Web, it's a nonprofit entrepreneurial training facility in Dayton, Ohio. And I can't help but spend 15 days a year there. It's fantastic. But if you only remember one little thing, and you can all email me for these slides later if you want. Establishing a long-term direction, aligning the operation to that direction, and then putting the controls in place to make everything work. Those essentially are the three major tools that you need to employ to keep your business tracking in the right direction. And read everything you can about or written by Clay Mathiel of Iams Foods. Basically, his deal is a dream plus a plan equals strategy. And what Clay tries to teach people to do is to look at the long term all the time. No matter who's yelling at you for what, no matter how many things you've got coming at you, don't be a whack-a-mole businessman. Take time, pause, make a plan, make a strategy, keep moving that one, move it around, put the pieces in place. Don't just come to work every day, whack that mole, and then at the end of the day, you're still just a mole whacker. So don't be a wool whacker business person. Be an organized business person with a real strategy. So I'm going to put my business cards on the table back there, and if you want this presentation, just pick one up, send me an email, I'll send it to you. And I really have enjoyed speaking with you today and getting to know you all. Thank you.